Krishna, everyone. A very warm welcome back again to our ongoing series on the glories of Shri Vrindavan Dham. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, the revealer of the Dham. So in our past two lectures, we covered some of the divine couples' noonday and afternoon pastimes, namely at Radhakund and Suryakund. So today I'd like to discuss some of their late morning pastimes. I say some because, as we know, the pastimes of the Lord are unlimited. We all sang during the recent month of Kartik a beautiful prayer from the Damodar Ashtaka. O Lord, I offer respectful obeisances unto your belly, the abode of the entire universe, which is bound by Mother Yasoda with a brilliantly effulgent rope. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer repeated obeisances to your dear most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I bow before you who are performing unlimited, super excellent pastimes. Hare Krishna. So we can begin today with cooking pastimes, morning cooking pastimes, some of which are found in Raya Shekhara's Astakala Leela Padavali and also in Govinda Leela Mrita. Therein we hear of Srimati Radharani's pastimes of cooking, especially when she is in Mother Yasoda's kitchen at Nandagram. Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually wrote a song for Arti that lists the names of some of these preparations that Radharani cooks for Krishna in Mother Yasoda's kitchen. So in the morning, such cooking starts with Srimati Radharani receiving Yasoda's and Rohini's blessings to enter the kitchen and cook for Krishna. First of all, Radharani's maidservants wash and dry her lotus feet. Then she follows Rohini, Balaram's mother, into the kitchen, followed by her friends, all in single file, it's described. Radharani's friends follow her in, like ducklings follow their mother. So in the kitchen, Rohini gives each gopi a place to cook, a menu, and the necessary ingredients for cooking. However, knowing Sri Radha's cooking skills, she just encourages Sri Radha to cook whatever her heart desires. And surrounded by eager maidservants who know exactly what ingredients and utensils are needed for each preparation, Sri Radha sits on a wooden stool and begins cooking. Krishna's breakfast, actually. Now, it's mentioned in these scriptures that one of the opulences of Mother Yasoda's kitchen is that sandalwood is used for firewood in the cooking. I thought that was really nice. Sandalwood is used for cooking, for the firewood, giving a very, you can imagine, sweet aroma to the entire kitchen. And it's said that Sri Radha is very grave while cooking for Krishna, fully concentrating on each and every preparation. Now there's a nice analogy given by our acharyas here. That is that her focus has been compared to a brahmana meticulously pronouncing each and every syllable of mantras he chants during a yajna. You know, she's focusing on making the preparations for Krishna, so much attention, just like a brahmana meticulously pronounces each and every syllable of mantras he chants during a yajna. And the following is quite a long list of some of the preparations that Srimati Radharani cooks for Krishna in the morning. There's Manohara Ladu, which is made with camphor and nutmeg. There's a preparation called kadamba, a round, hard, sweet, shaped like a kadamba flower. There's padmachini. It's a sweet made from lotus flowers, actually. There's amrita keli. It's a favorite milk sweet of Krishna. There's gaja and kaja. Gaja and kaja, sweets made from flour, the latter of which, it's described, Krishna will literally run for. He'll literally run for it. Then there's para. It's milk cooked down with sugar. There's chandachura. This is an interesting one. Chandachura. It's a sweet, the taste of which can only be compared to powdered moonlight. Powdered moonlight. Then there's mishri, which is a rock candy. Sarabhaja. Sarabhaja is a sweet made from cream. Then there's sarapuri. It's a puri made by frying cream. Then she makes bindi ladu, sweet balls made of chickpea flour, and rasakara. It's the last of the sweets. It's made from coconut. And Radharani also prepares various beverages, like a fruit juice called rashala, and a cream drink called matani. Matani. She also makes, or rather she prepares different types of pickles, like to add flavor and spice to the preparations, achar, and she places each of them in a separate container for Krishna to take from. And Radharani also slices fresh fruits, especially selected by Mother Yasoda. She selects these fruits. And it's described that in the last phase of her cooking, Radharani prepares exquisitely fragrant rice, and then cuts, cooks, and spices countless vegetables, whose aroma could easily break the meditations of great sages. That's how it's described. Whose aroma could easily break the meditation of great sages. Now, when Radharani's finished making all these preparations with her helpers, they're all placed on golden plates and covered with thin cloths. And they're all carried, these golden plates are carried to tables where, interestingly, Mother Yasoda inspects them before serving them to Krishna. It's described just as a general reviews his troops before a battle. Mother Yasoda inspects them, actually before giving them to Srimati Radharani to serve to Krishna, just as a general reviews his troops. Of course, Mother Yasoda is well aware that anything Sri Radha cooks becomes nectar and doesn't have to be checked. But it's described out of her natural maternal instinct, she feels obliged to do so. But the Acharyas write, the real test of Radha's cooking comes when Krishna's friends, especially Madhu Mangal, sample one nectarian dish after another and express their approval by making all kinds of funny sounds. All kinds of funny sounds. Now the Acharyas say that Radharani's cooking not only tastes like nectar, but is also pleasing to the eyes, which creates a sort of problem. And what's the problem? The problem is, how can one eat something so beautiful? It's very pleasing to the eyes. So how can someone eat something so beautiful, but then again, how can one resist something so inviting as those nectarian preparations? That's the problem. It's also said that because Radharani cooks and then serves the meal, each dish is so filled with her love that it overwhelms Krishna's mind and senses. And as such, he often loses his appetite and just sits picking at the food. So seeing this, Mother Yasoda becomes very upset. And she scolds Krishna. She says, "Son, I have asked Sri Radha, the best cook in all of Braja, to come at a great distance just to cook for you. and now you're just playing with your food? If you don't eat properly, then Radha will not come back again, and why should she? So hearing this, Krishna gets nervous and he looks, back and forth from Radha to his mother and from his mother to Radha, back and forth. And the acharyas say, then, to please the two of them, Krishna eats everything on his plate. Quote, by invoking the same potency which helps him eat unlimited food offerings in an infinity of deity forms. Wow. He can eat all that food prepared by Radharani. How? By invoking the same potency which helps him eat unlimited food offerings in an infinity of deity forms. So beautifully put. So after breakfast, Krishna and his friends, you can imagine they take a nap. And perspiring from the heat and tired from all the cooking, Srimati Radharani comes out of the kitchen and sits in a nearby room in the palace, where her maidservants wash her feet and hands with cool, fragrant water, while Lalita Devi wipes her face and arms with a cold, damp cloth, all the while chastising Radharani for having overexerted herself by cooking for this cowherd boy. That's Lalita's mood. She's very protective of Radharani. So just at that moment, Mother Yasoda appears, and she says, Shri Radha, now that you have fed everyone, you must also eat. So Srimati Radharani and her friends, while laughing and joking, eat preparations brought by Rohini, preparations that Kundalata had previously mixed with Krishna's remnants. Preparations are brought in by Rohini, but they're preparations that Kundalata had previously mixed with Krishna's remnants. So when Radharani finishes, she cleanses her mouth and accepts betel nuts to chew. So soon afterwards, Mother Yasoda asks Shri Radha to sit on a special seat, and with great affection she begins to dress and ornament her. First by retying Radha's hair into a graceful braid. Then she applies fresh vermilion in the part of Radharani's hair. She puts tilak on her forehead, carilium in her eyelids. Then she replaces Radharani's nose ring with her own most precious gold pearl. Mother Yasoda has a precious golden pearl, so she replaces Radharani's nose ring with this golden pearl. Then Mother Yasoda dresses Shri Radha in a beautiful blue sari. Its color actually matches perfectly Krishna's complexion, so when she puts it on, it's described, Radharani blushes. And meanwhile, one of Mother Yasoda's maidservants delivers a tray of ornaments. It's described that glitters like 1,000 suns. Then Yasoda selects a string of diamonds and hangs it around Shri Radha's neck. Then moving behind Shri Radha, Yasoda takes Radharani's braid, which we mentioned earlier, in her hands and decorates it with various hairpins. I was reading, one hairpin's made of gold, another's made of diamonds, one's made of pearls, and others are made of jewels like rubies and emeralds and sapphires. And while this intimate exchange is taking place between Shri Radha and Mother Yasoda, all of Radharani's girlfriends are looking on in amazement. Then Yasoda says, "O my precious little girl, your form and qualities soothe my heart. I dream of them always. What sins have I committed that I cannot have you as my daughter? You and my son are like the two halves of my life, or the pupils of my two eyes. My husband, the king of Braja, also shares this sentiment, just as we share the sadness that you are not the wife of our dear Krishna." Of course, Radharani is Krishna's eternal consort, but for the sake of their pastimes as lovers, they never wed. Parakiya bhav. So after this, Mother Yasoda gets Krishna ready for taking his cows and friends into the forest. And part of that preparing him is she ties amulets and protective stones, on Krishna's wrists and arms so he'll be protected in the forest. And when she does that, Krishna offers her, it's described, prostrated obeisances while laughing at his mother's efforts to protect him from harm. And as Mother Yasoda accompanies Krishna and Balaram down Nandagram hill, she pleads with Krishna. It's very sweet. "Oh child, we have so much wealth. Why then do you have to go to the forest herding cows? Let others go. You can stay. I know none more dear than you. If misfortune were to befall you, I would perish. I shiver in fright to think of your body scorched by the sun's harsh rays and your soft soles pricked by sharp stones." So with these words, little Krishna, he holds his mother's hands and he says, it's very nice, "Maya, you need not fear. In the presence of Balaram, what harm can come to me? Besides, mother, there are no demons left in the forest. They're all dead." Besides, there are no demons left in the forest. They're all dead. "The trees shelter us everywhere like big umbrellas, and the stones become like cotton balls under our feet. Please, mother, how could I neglect our tradition and my duty to care for the cows? How could I neglect our tradition and my duty to care for cows?" Hare Krishna. So while Krishna is talking to his mother like this, one gopi reminds Mother Yasoda, "O Queen, if you do not send Srimati Radharani back to her home now, Jatila might become suspicious and forbid her from returning tomorrow to cook for Krishna." So Mother Yasoda embraces Krishna one last time and then gives him permission to depart, watching as he and Balaram leave with a large herd of cows into the forest. And after sending Krishna off, Mother Yasoda returns to her palace and with a sad heart consoles herself. How? By seating Srimati Radharani on her lap. She knows she has to send her home, but she loves Radharani so much that she consoles herself from Krishna's departure by seating Radharani on her lap. Actually, the Acharyas have said, I read this yesterday, Yasoda's love for Radha is just as intense as her love for Krishna. Very profound. Yasoda's love for Radha is just as intense as her love for Krishna. So then Yasoda says to Shri Radha, it melts her heart, "O Radha, consider me to be just like your mother, Kirtida, and this house just like your own home. Alas, because of gossip, I cannot even keep you here for a full day. Unfortunately, the small-minded villagers are too harsh." So poetic. Unfortunately, the small-minded villagers are too harsh. All the rumors. So the Acharyas, they say, as Mother Yasoda weeps, the palace walls melt in sympathy, and young gopis weep alongside her. Then Radha uses her own sari to wipe the tears from Yasoda's face, and then falls into Mother Yasoda's loving embrace. Let me recite that again. As Mother Yasoda weeps, the palace walls melt in sympathy, and the young gopis weep alongside her. Then Shri Radha uses her own sari to wipe the tears from Yasoda's face, and then falls into Mother Yasoda's loving embrace. Hare Krishna. Such wonderful morning pastimes. The whole day, the whole night is filled with nectarian pastimes in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So today we'll finish, as we often do, with very choice verses from Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati's Vrindavan Mahim Amrita. Always a perfect way to finish. To start, to say in the middle, and to finish with. He writes, I meditate on Vrindavan, resounding with the cuckoo's fifth note, and the playful sound of the flute, full of dancing peacocks and blossoming creepers and trees, replete with graceful, shining bowers, and colorful with flocks of birds and deer, endowed with various attractive rivers, ponds, and Govardhan Hill. May my eyes, being overwhelmed, see the sweet waves of Vrindavan's beauty. May my intelligence drown in the ocean of Vrindavan's great nectar. May my body, filled with ecstatic bliss, roll on the ground of Vrindavan. May I offer respects, falling down like a stick, to all the living beings in Sri Vrindavan Dham. May the supreme abode of Vrindavan, from which one can experience just by living here a sweet ocean of great rasa, which cannot be attained as a conclusion even after deliberating on the words of the Upanishads, kindly manifest to me. Hare Krishna. So we'll leave you with those nectarian words of Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, and we'll be back in a few days with some more nectar about our beloved Sri Vrindavan Dham. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, the revealer of the Dham. Shri Shri Gauranitai ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Vrindavaneshwari Shrimati Radharani ki, Mother Yasoda ki, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki, Shri Mayapur Dhama ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtanya ki, Gaura Premanandi, Jai Jai Sri Sri Radhe Shan.